Today we are talking about where the heck good ideas come from. Tracy, how are you doing today? Carpool. No, actually I just got a new phone. I am upgraded. I'm on a 6 Plus now, so I'm outside of AT&T. But my husband's working from home today, so I don't have my cool little office set up. So I was like, well, I'll do my scope in the car. So here we are. I'm not driving. You can see the stationary scenery in the background. There's a big no scope and drive campaign. Thanks. So I saw Darnell come in. So y'all say hi as you're coming in. How are y'all doing today? Everyone good? I'm assuming y'all are good. So today we're talking about where the heck good writing ideas come from. And so this week has been a lot about like motivation and inspiration in our writing, and we've kind of been hovering around a really important point that I really want to hit on today. And that is the sense that, hey Darnell, yeah, good to see you too. That's the sense that there's this great mystery in a writer's life that it seems like good ideas just hit us from out of nowhere. And I mean, y'all have probably heard similar phrases, but I mean, I hear people talk about getting a divine download or inspiration from the muse, or having a Paul on the road to Damascus moment where like something just hits us and we're like, wow, that's a great idea, and it feels like it comes out of nowhere. And so I really want to kind of talk a little bit more about that. Tracy knows what I'm talking about. I see the hearts. Thank y'all. Thanks Miguel. And I want to delve a little bit deeper into that because I think there's some truth for us to dig into. So how do we tap into this mysterious source of, hey Shalon, welcome. So how do we tap into this mysterious source of like brilliant writing ideas? And I think that we actually can put in some intentional practices to not only to tap into the good ideas, but to honestly to steward the gifts that we've been given. And I'm going to kind of veer off a little bit from the practical and embrace more of like a worldview around writing. So kind of bear with me a little bit. But I think the first thing we can do, so one thing is a mindset shift, and then two practical things, because I got to do practical. But the first is a mindset shift, and I really think that it would be good if we could learn to embrace a mindset of abundance. And so maybe this is a kind of a new vocabulary word for some of you, but there's often talk about two polar extremes. Oh, thanks for sharing, Ron. Hi, Ron. Y'all follow Ron. When he pops a comment, Ron Estrada, follow him. He's a writer too. So if y'all like to talk about writing, follow him too. Thanks, Shalon. So people talk about the two ends of the spectrum. There's a lack mindset and an abundance mindset. And if you haven't heard those two, yes, Ron is fascinating and ruggedly handsome as well, as Chivas would say. The lack mindset is when we continue to think there's not enough. Everything's been done, everything's been taken, of course I remembered, he's around a lot. There's not enough for everyone, and we're running out, and there's not enough, and there never will be enough, and there's a pressure and an urgency in a lack mindset. On the other end of the spectrum, there's more of an abundance mindset that's like, there is plenty. Yes, Shalon, you've started to experience this shift. It's huge once you start to intentionally seek out an abundant mindset, and you look for ways to remind yourself that there's plenty, there is enough, there is infinite. I mean, there's an infinite in the universe, and this is kind of where we come back to this philosophy that I've been circling around but not really touching on, but I do want to touch on it today, because I think that there is an infinite being that created us. I'm just going to throw that out there, right? I call him God, and to me he's a person. I know that everyone's on their own path and their own journey, and for you it may be the universe, it may be something that you don't even have a name for, and that's totally cool. But I do believe that it's not that much of a stretch for us to say there's an infinite something out there. And I think we're created. I think we are created with some of that, like a resonance of that infiniteness. And so, if we are an image of this infiniteness, how could we ever believe there's not enough? There must be enough. We are, thanks Shalon, yeah, and thanks for the hearts, guys. It's really, as I'm saying this, I'm like getting kind of nervous, but the hearts are helping. I'm like, okay, they're tracking with me, they're following. And so, how could we fall prey to feeling a lack mindset? But it's so easy. We just have to, every time we say there's not enough, remind ourselves, bring to mind examples of abundance. So, it feels like faith sharing. So, just actually remember true historical experiences of our humanity experiencing abundance. So every time we think that everything's been done, something new and incredible happens. I mean, think from, like, even the 20th century, going from the car, like having the Ford Model A or T or whatever, and then the refrigerator, and then the telephone, and then the iPhone, which I'm on my brand new 6 Plus, so I'm feeling the iPhone love right now. But can you imagine those huge shifts that in the early 20th century there were people saying everything's been done and everything's been invented and hadn't even got to the car yet? That's science. She loves science. Tracy down there, she's all about the science. If you love science, follow her. She's awesome. But how at the beginning of the 20th century is it possible that there are people saying everything has been done and we hadn't even got to the car yet and all of the stuff to follow? And take that realization, pull it in, internalize it, and say there is more, there is much more to human history. Alright, take that, put it into writing. Okay, what does this look like for writers? Same idea. I mean, not that long ago, we were saying every day, people say every idea has been taken. But can you imagine what if Tolkien had never written Lord of the Rings? Think Shalon. What if, I don't know if there's anyone who loves some Martin, but what if George R.R. Martin had never written the Song of Ice and Fire? I mean, my springtime Sunday evenings would be very boring, that's for sure. From April through June would be terribly boring. What if Tony Robbins thought that every self-help book had already been written? I mean, Tony Robbins has changed so many lives. What if E.L. James thought that every romance novel had already been written? What if she was like, oh, Danielle Steele's already done it, I'm not going to do anything? There'd be no 50 Shades of Grey. Which, I mean, I'm not a 50 Shades of Grey lover, but there are a lot of housewives whose lives were changed because of 50 Shades of Grey. Ron, yep, every story has been written, but not by you. Yeah, but even still, that's what I love, is that, every story is new. Every story is new. It's not a reiteration of the same old thing. A reiteration of the same old thing would be a lack mindset. Believing that every story is new and fresh and full of life-giving potential, that's an abundant mindset right there. So that's what we need to try to intentionally create. Thanks for the hearts, guys. This is the most hearts I've ever gotten. I should go off on and philosophical rants more often. But anyway, so just catch yourself. When you're in that mindset of lack, just catch yourself to say stop and say, you know what? No, I'm holding a freaking iPhone S Plus, whatever. There is infinite possibility, not only for technology, but for writing as well. Okay, so if we have never, ever, ever come close to running out of ideas, why would we suddenly be out of ideas now? We aren't. The starving artist myth. That's so true. I don't know why we cling to that. As artists, we should be like, no, I'm not starving. I am on my way to making millions. That's the kind of mindset I want to hear from writers is, I'm not starving, I'm not working for free, I'm on my way to making millions. And maybe it's true. And let's just have a little faith. Okay, so going back to the philosophy, I think a lot of us feel like, oh, thanks for inviting, Darnell. I think a lot of us feel like if there is an infinite being and we are made in that image, a lot of us who write feel like we are called, right? Your books that live inside of you, you are called to write them. And I believe that. I'll put that all over my website. I'll like shout that from the rooftops. If you feel like you have a book in you, I believe it's because you are called to write that book. If you are called to write a book, then I think you should be available to answer that call on a regular basis. Here's where we get to action steps. So, number 1, make time. You gotta make time. Did I go to school for publishing? This is from Miguel. Studying business administration and management. You know what? I don't think school is capable of handling the amount of incredible change that is happening in the writing and publishing industry right now. There is no university degree or program that can keep up with self-publishing right now. You gotta learn it on the fly, on your own, through trial and error, because it is so fast. I've been trying to learn as much as possible. People unicorn. Finding time is the hardest thing. Yes, Miguel, agree. I've been trying to invest as much time and money as I can to get on the edge of publishing, and you can't learn that stuff fast enough. Everything changes every month. I mean, it's incredible. So, yeah, sure, go to school, but it's not going to be enough to keep you on the front running edge of publishing. And school can't give you that drive, Ron says. Yeah, exactly. You gotta be an entrepreneur. You gotta be an entrepreneur in this gig. Yeah. So, action step number 1. Finding time is hard, but if you are called to write, you better make time to answer that call, because it is in your soul, it is in your being, and if you don't make time, you won't feel fulfilled. I mean, it is one of the most important things you're going to do in your life. If you feel that insatiable curiosity to write, Ron says an hour a day. Yeah, at least 25 minutes. If you can't spare 25 minutes, then maybe you're not called to write. I mean, you gotta have, I almost said a real southern thing. Well, I'll say it. I almost said you gotta have a come to Jesus moment. Ron says that's one bad TV show. Thanks, Shalon. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is our stewardship. I think we have been given something really special, and we will live our truest, fullest, most amazing lives if we will live into it, if we will devote time to it. And that means giving up. I mean, I love Big Bang Theory, but it is 22 minutes long, and if I have to choose between Big Bang Theory, they're all reruns right now. If I have to choose between a rerun of Big Bang Theory and writing, if I'm true to myself and my goals and who I am, I've got to give up the Big Bang Theory. I've got to write instead. So, the 25 minutes is non-negotiable. I gotta say it, guys. You gotta do it. Miguel, that's why I'm quitting my second job so you can write more. Good. Well, I hope it doesn't put you in a tight spot. Shalon, if it's a priority, you'll find the time. Exactly. I hope it doesn't put you in a tight spot, but live in an abundant mindset and be like, it will come. When I make time. Yeah, Ron says you choose the greater passion. If I make time for it, it will pay out dividends. That's what you gotta believe. And then the second sort of action step is to seek out inspiration. So, I love routines. I build my life around routines. I'm a routine kind of gal. But we have to be willing and open to explore random avenues of inspiration. If you feel yourself tugged towards something inexplicably, if it's whitewater rafting down a Rocky Mountain river, do it. It won't put you in a tight spot? I hope it will. Yeah. Good. Then definitely quit your job and start writing. Good. If you feel inexplicably called to join some random group, or, I'm looking at a pottery place. Go make pottery and paint. Even if it seems random, in the same way that I believe we are called to write, I think we are called to mysterious passions as well. Johnny, heart tugs. I love that. Yes. So, you never know where the inspiration is going to come from. It could come from anywhere. It could come from, a taekwondo studio. You guys know I do taekwondo. Tracy's on. Yep, she knows it. It could come from, who knows? A movie. It could be very seemingly mundane things. But if you feel, I love that, Johnny, a heart tug, pursue it and trust that there is space for inspiration. So, yeah, I guess my main point with this one is that you just never know when there's going to be a divine download moment. Childhood memories, that's right. I mean, the associations, our brains, guys, I mean, if you look into like neuroscience or whatever, our brains just absorb and contain and retain so much information. It's incredible. But we can't access those very intentionally. It's really difficult for us to access them intentionally. So if we maintain this mindset of abundance and openness, I mean, those moments could hit us. Those moments of divine download, inspiration from the muse, Paul on the road to Damascus moments could hit us at any time. So I want you to be open to that. That is my request for you today, and especially looking forward to the weekend. Most of us in the States have a 3-day weekend coming up for Labor Day, and this is a great time. Usually we have a day off work, and go follow the heart tugs. Make time for writing and follow those heart tugs. And you have been called to write, so do it. So answer that call. Thank you guys. Thanks Miguel and Shalon and Ron. Yep. People Unicorn, what's your name? Thanks. So if you love to talk about writing, if you don't mind my random philosophical driven rants occasionally, hit the little Perry dude down there and follow. Thanks, Tracy. Change that plus to a check, and I scope most of the time during lunch, unless I am out getting a new iPhone Plus. Yes, thanks guys. Most of the time during lunch, do a quick 15-minute scope, get you guys inspired to write, and then use the rest of your lunch to write. That's the idea. I blog, and you can find scope notes at paperravenbooks.com/periscope. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you have a good day. I'm having a good day. I hope y'all have a good day. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow, we are talking about... Ooh, hold on, let me pull that up real quick. The power of connecting with other authors, which y'all are doing such a good job of. Thanks Darnell. So tomorrow we're talking all about the power and how to connect with other authors, so it's going to be a good day. Okay guys, y'all have a good afternoon. Talk to you tomorrow, and catch me on Twitter at MorganGMac. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.